Community, Season 1, Episode 1, The Pilot. After realizing that John Oliver lied to him just to feign moral superiority,
an important lesson, my friend,
like he does to us on his HBO show, Jeff Winger goes back to the study group with his tail between his legs and runs into Pierce and Troy. Troy then asks him if he should stop wearing his leather jacket.
People have been calling me about this jacket since I got here, but if I take it off to make them happy, that just makes me weak, right?
What follows is one of the best lines in the entire show. This is the line that made me like the show when I first watched it.
It doesn't matter. You lose the jacket to please them, you keep it to piss them off. Either way, it's for them. That's what's weak.
So imagine my surprise when I realized that Netflix cut the whole thing out.
You just wrinkled my brain, man.
But why? 2009 was a wild time for mainstream American television. Breaking Bad was airing its second season and struggling to get viewers, while American Idol was the hottest thing on TV.
That means you do my homework, right, Seacrest?
No other show could touch it in terms of ratings, and networks like NBC were struggling to find the next best thing while wondering if it was even worth investing money into actual scripted productions when all the big figures were made by karaoke contests or celebrities trying to dance. I'm working on a video about the early years of American Idol. You guys aren't ready for it yet. This is also when the whole Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien debacle happened, when NBC gave The Tonight Show to Conan but decided that it's cheaper to have another late-night show preceding it, so they gave Jay a similar show that tanked ratings for everyone and, well, the rest is history. In fact, they were actually advertising the Jay Leno show when Community first aired. Now, the top comedies on TV were The Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men.
Bazinga!
So there was an audience for simple, repetitive, formulaic sitcoms, but NBC was the network that gave us Seinfeld, so they decided to try something different. Enter Dan Harmon. Dan based the show on his own experience in community college, when he also joined a study group to get close to a girl, but then inadvertently got a new group of friends he cared deeply about, in spite of not having anything in common with them. So Jeff Winger is based on him, or on how he perceived himself at least. Because as years went by, Dan actually realized he is on the spectrum, so he's got more in common with Abed than Jeff.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
But that's neither here nor there. So with the help of the Russo brothers, of Arrested Development fame, he put the pilot together. Little did the Russo brothers know this show would end up changing their lives forever, but we'll get to that later. There are technically 3 versions of the pilot episode. The original script Dan Harmon first wrote, the extended pilot that aired once on NBC, and the syndicated version which aired from then on. Let's start with the script. The script isn't too different from what ended up on screen, aside from Jeff's last name being Crocker. But the main thing to notice is that they wrote in a recurring character that never made it onto the show. Elderly black woman. Sorry, that's the name written in the script. She's the lunch lady who gets one scene in the extended pilot, but then got cut out completely. The script had another scene of Jeff running into her on campus towards the end, but that never made it on screen. Another joke from the script that made it on the extended pilot but got cut out is Jeff and Professor Duncan's controversial backstory. More on that in a second. The extended pilot is the episode I first watched, and it's basically the first episode you know and love, but with a bunch of extra jokes you might have missed if you saw the syndicated version. There are 2 types of Community fans. The ones who dislike the pilot, don't really like the first season much, and just like the show when it went all weird and meta and became something else. Then there are people like me, who think Community was a really good sitcom in the first season, and it should have never gotten weird. And if you watched our most popular video on Seinfeld, you know why. I think the first paintball episode is as weird as the show should have ever gotten. It was still surreal and completely ridiculous, but felt a bit more grounded in reality. The second paintball episode was just exaggerated and all over the place, but it did make Marvel want to hire its directors, the Russo brothers, because apparently they were convinced they can direct action after seeing those episodes. So I'm glad things worked out for them, but I still prefer season 1. The script for the pilot has witty dialogue scene after witty dialogue scene. It's perfect. The characters may not be too polished, but I would personally teach this in screenwriting classes. So many jokes I love.
Well, I thought you had a bachelor's from Columbia.
And now I have to get one from America. And it can't be an email attachment.
So, what are the differences? Like I mentioned before, the lunch lady got cut out.
Were you conditioned to pay for your damn tacos, Seinfeld?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Jeff using 9/11 to get Duncan out of a DUI also got cut.
I still cannot figure out how you got a jury to connect September the 11th with my DUI, let alone why that helped.
Well, 2002 was a simpler time.
There are also scenes that made it but just got shorter. For instance, when Jeff tries to text Abed to get out of the room.
Hey, text message. Let's give this bad boy a read.
It's probably just for you.
I've never gotten one of these.
It's probably, you just...
And of course, my favorite line in the whole show, which just got removed completely.
Either way, it's for them. That's what's weak.
In the syndicated version, Troy never asks anything and the camera cuts directly to Britta and the gang. When Netflix bought the rights to the show, they got the syndicated version, where episodes have to be 21 minutes long, so sacrifices had to be made on the perfect 25-minute pilot. And although the other jokes that got cut don't really add anything to the story, the Troy response is the quintessential Jeff Winger moment. Funny, but also philosophical. Let us know if you want a deep dive into this show and when it started getting weird, but fair warning, I'm not going to go easy on it because I really think the show went downhill fast in season 2.